You wrote it, not me. Rewriting history. Could Microsoft have won the mobile market?
Actually, someone else wrote that, and I
You
sort of
say
debunked
you poo-pooed it.
I've had incredible interactions with Microsoft over the years, but the most incredible was with the Windows Mobile guys back in the 2006, 2007, 2008 timeframe.
Well, they've got to believe. I mean, if you're doing a product, you're going to believe. You're not going to do a product you think, well, this is probably a flop, but I'm going to try anyway.
Well, if they thought that, they were idiots, because what they put out was terrible. And I had, their initial reaction to the iPhone was to take Windows Mobile and put this veneer over the top of it that was touch friendly. And so there was a lock screen. Actually, the lock screen was pretty innovative for the day. But then there was a home screen or a start screen that was just, was touch friendly. So it kind of looked like an iPhone. But once you got past that first menu, once you ran any app, once you got anywhere into the OS, what you discovered was a system that had been developed over a decade to work solely with a little stylus, because they had tiny little check boxes and little scroll bars and things, and it wasn't touch friendly. And Windows Mobile had all kinds of other problems, of course, but I think the big one was that Microsoft, we were talking about like Angry Birds and how companies that are successful doing one thing just kind of try to repeat that success again and again. Windows Mobile, which began life as Windows CE and went through various permutations as palm-sized PC and Pocket PC and whatever else it was called, suffered from that. It was, let's take this thing called Windows 95 that's really successful. Let's put it down on a really small screen. We'll have exactly the same UI. There'll be a start button. There'll be a start menu. We can't have a mouse in this kind of a device, so we'll use a little stylus. This is the thing, Steve Jobs made fun of when he launched the first iPhone. And, I don't know, for the day, I guess it made some sort of sense. But I actually think that the thing that really screwed it up wasn't so much its multiple hardware partners, all of whom had unique hardware and unique resolutions on the screen and unique capabilities and all that stuff. It was probably the emergence of wireless carriers and the phone as a target type. It was that, just that additional extra flavor of stupidity being added into the mix that made everything just terrible.
Yum, yum.
And they were never going to win the mobile wars. Never. It was just never going to happen. But I recount this story in this article, and I might have told this on the podcast sometime in the past, but the most incredible meeting I've ever had, I think, with Microsoft was with the Windows Mobile guys. And it was after the iPhone had come out. And I'm typing on my laptop like I always do as they speak. And I said, look, it really seems like the iPhone is eating your lunch. I mean, how are you going to respond to that? And I'm typing as the woman is responding. And she says, the iPhone proved something we've thought for a long time, that consumers would really embrace a simple, easy-use touch system. And as she's saying this, I sort of slowed down and stopped, and then I considered this, and I said, do you even hear the words that are coming out of your mouth?
No, that's so mean.
I mean, that's incredible. That's incredible. I couldn't help it. You saw this coming and you didn't do it? That's what you're claiming? That's incredible. And, the thing, Windows Phone is a tough one for me, because when Steven Sinofsky took over the Windows group, the big Windows group, a lot of the former guys from Windows, the guys who were there in the XP days and the Windows Vista days, fled that ship. And a lot of them ended up in Windows Mobile. And I had conversations with multiple people from Microsoft, who were friends of mine, who said, oh, yeah, I'm working on Windows Mobile now. And to a one, I replied something along the lines of, oh, are you getting punished for something? I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, going to Windows Mobile seemed like such a horrible thing. And none of them told me anything about Windows Phone, but all of them did hint that they were working on something they thought was going to be big and that I should pay attention to this. It was going to be great. And as we all know, in March 2010, they announced Windows Phone at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. And I was blown away by it. It seemed like a real reimagining of what a smartphone could be. Not just different to be different, right? But let's really think through how this could work and make it better at every step along the way. I really felt like these guys had gotten it right. Now, it's a completely different story. Obviously, this thing didn't go very far for a variety of other reasons. But Windows Mobile, back in the day, Windows Mobile 6, whatever, no. It was never going to happen. In a world of companies like RIM and BlackBerry, it was never going to happen. In a world of companies like Google and Apple, that is the saddest joke ever told.
Yeah.
Never going to happen.
I think one of the things that former employee talked about on the article he did was Microsoft kept going back and forth between, should we focus on the enterprise or consumer, right? They couldn't figure out that they should do both or how to do both. With Windows Mobile, it was an enterprise play. When Windows Phone launched, it was all consumer, and they just totally forgot about the enterprise, which is where they had market share. Now they're swinging back again to enterprise, and they're kind of just saying, well, we lost in consumer, right?
Yeah. Right. Monday morning quarterbacks are going to look at Windows Phone and do look at Windows Phone, and they've come up with a variety of reasons why it failed. And the thing you just said, I think, is the kind of hubristic center of it all, the nougaty, chewy center, the Apple envy that drove Microsoft during this period of time was so strong that they literally followed Apple down this consumer rabbit hole and tried to make a consumer product. After they had failed with Zune, after they had failed with Windows Media Center, they still tried. And that is astonishing to me. But that's that they were so
like you said,
tunnel vision.
In hindsight now, it's easy to say, like, why did they do that? And at the time, I remember thinking,
but you know what?
I remember even asking, like, are you guys going to add some enterprise features to this? And they're like, oh, this is for both consumer and enterprise. I'm like, it's missing every single enterprise feature you had in Windows Mobile.
Yep. Right. To the tune of basic, at the time, it was EAS support, like Exchange Active Sync support, was completely missing.
Right? VPN support was missing. Right?
And as the iPhone and Android improved over the subsequent years, those things were better supported by these exact things than Windows Phone was. Right. We can talk about apps and all that stuff, and it's a big part of the story. We can talk about their botched plan to have these hubs that no brand would in their right mind would ever want to be have any part of, and all that stuff. But this kind of bizarre focus just on the consumer experience was so dumb, so dumb.